Lady Zhen was a kind and beautiful woman, the first wife of Taipei and the mother of Cao Rui. She was a descendant of Zhen Han, the Grand Protector in the late Western Han Dynasty, and her father Hsin-yü was a magistrate in Ruan in the Eastern Han Dynasty. Hsin-yü was a man from an old official family, so he married the Lady Zhang from Changshan Commandery, who mothered his 3 sons and 5 daughters. Eldest son Hsin-yü died early, but second son Hsin-yan and third son Hsin-yao went on to become nominated Xiaolians. The daughters, Zhen Jiang, Zhen Tuo, Zhen Dao and Zhen Rong were all older than Lady Zhen herself, who was born in the year 183 in Zhongshan Commandery. Hsin-yü once brought his children to meet a fortune teller who commented on Lady Zhen. This girl will become very noble in the future. She lost her father when she was 3 years old, and unlike the other children she grew up with, she didn't enjoy playing. Once, when she was 8 years old, her sisters went to the balcony to watch the horse riding display outside their house, but Lady Zhen didn't join in. She told her puzzled sisters, "Is this something a girl should watch?" By the next year, she had become interested in scholarly arts by reading books and even using her brother's writing materials. They told her that she should be learning what women traditionally do, such as weaving. When you picked up reading, were you thinking of becoming a female academic? Lady Zhen replied, "I heard that virtuous women in history learnt from the successes and failures of those who lived before them. If they didn't read, how did they learn all of that?" During the chaotic period after the death of Emperor Ling, the common people suffered from poverty and hunger. Many wealthy households were forced to sell their expensive jewellery and valuables for food, and Lady Zhen's family had large stockpiles of grain. They were going to exchange their grain for expensive items, but the 10-year-old Zhen Ji said to her mother, "It's not wrong to own expensive items, but in this chaotic era, owning such things has become a wrongdoing. Our neighbours are suffering from hunger, so why don't we give our extra grain to the rest of the town? This is an act of graciousness and kindness." Her family praised her suggestion and took her advice. When she was 14 years old, her second brother Zhen Yan also died, and she was deeply grieved. She continued to show respect towards her brother's widow by helping her raise their son. Zhen's mother was particularly strict towards her daughters-in-law and treated them harshly, so Lady Zhen told her, "It's unfortunate that second brother died early. Now second sister-in-law has become widowed at such a young age, and she is now left with only her son." Zhen's mother was so deeply touched that she started crying, and changed her attitude towards her in-laws by allowing them to accompany her on outings and wait on her. Sometime in the coming years, the northern warlord Yuan Shao obtained her for his middle son Yuan Shi. They married in 198, and while Yuan Shi went away to act as the inspector of Yu province, Lady Zhen remained at Yi to look after her new mother-in-law. Yuan Shao's concubine, the Lady Liu, had adopted Yuan Shi, but was also the birth mother to his third and favourite son Yuan Shang, so Lady Zhen stayed here to help care for her. Yuan Shao lost to his rival Cao Cao at the Battle of Guandu, while Lady Zhen remained safe in Yi. After Yuan Shao's death, Lady Liu's ambition came to head. Being in control of the Yuan family, she plotted with Shen Pi and Pang Ji to execute Yuan Shao's other concubines. The plan was put into effect, with 5 of them being disfigured, then put to death. She went on to kill the families of those concubines to prevent them from seeking revenge in the future, and her plotting bore fruit, for Yuan Shang succeeded the Yuan clan. After Cao Cao defeated Yuan Shang at the Battle of Yi, his forces occupied the city. Yuan Shao's old residence had not yet collapsed, and the stairs were still intact. Sat together in the main hall, the terrified Lady Zhen buried her face in her mother-in-law's lap when Cao Pi burst in. "Madame Liu, what's going on? Ask that lady to lift up her head." When he saw Lady Zhen's dirtied face shedding tears, he approached her to clean it with a scarf, then became entranced after he saw her unmatched looks. He went away singing praises of extraordinary beauty, so his father allowed him to marry her. Cao Pi put up at Shao's mansion, personally strolled his courtyards, ascended his halls, roamed his pavilions, and lay down in his rooms. Yuan Shi was still alive at the time of his wife's new marriage, but his eventual fate led him into an ambush, whereafter his head was sent back to Cao Cao. Lady Zhen stayed humble even though Cao Pi deeply fancied her, and she provided encouragement to his other wives while comforting the less favoured ones. She bore Cao Pi a son and a daughter. Cao Rui later became the second Wei emperor, while their daughter Princess Dongxiang would remain ever loyal to the Tao clan. Zhen also often urged Pi to take more concubines so that he would have more descendants, citing the example set by the mythical Yellow Emperor. Cao Pi once sent a concubine, Lady Ren, back to her family, which meant he was divorcing her, but Zhen Ji became worried. Lady Ren comes from a famed clan. I can't match her in terms of moral character or looks. Everyone knows that you love and adore me, and they'll think you're sending her away because of me. I fear that I'll be ridiculed and accused of abusing your favour towards me. Please reconsider your decision again carefully. He sent Lady Ren away anyway, by saying she is unruly, impulsive, and disobedient. In 211, Lady Bian followed Cao Cao on a campaign to attack Ma Chao and Han Sui. She stayed at Meng Ford during this time but fell ill, and Lady Zhen became so worried when she heard about it that she cried day and night. She constantly sent messengers to inquire her mother-in-law's condition, but was filled with greater anxiety when they said that she was recovering well. She didn't believe them, and her worries only disappeared when Lady Bian herself wrote telling her that she had fully recovered. When Bian returned to Yi, Lady Zhen rushed out to see her with great sadness and joy. The people nearby were all moved by the scene of Lady Bian assuring Zhen that her illness was not serious, while praising her for her filial piety. In 216, Lady Bian, Cao Pi, Cao Rui and Princess Dongxiang all followed Cao Cao on the campaign to battle Sun Quan at Rushu. Lady Zhen remained in Yi because she was sick. Then when her children returned, she surprised the attendants because she was so cheerful. "My lady, you've not seen your children for about a year. We thought you'd miss them and be worried about them, but you're so uplifted." Zhen laughed. "Why should I be worried when Rui and the others are with Madame Lady Bian?" The vassal king title King of Wei was inherited by Cao Pi after his father's death, then he quickly forced Emperor Xian to abdicate. The dethroned emperor presented his two daughters as concubines and Cao Pi began to favour them, especially Guo Nu Wang. Lady Zhen's downfall was due to Guo Nu Wang, who Cao Pi deeply fancied. When Lady Zhen realised she wasn't the most favoured, she started complaining, which made Cao Pi furious. On the 4th of August in 221, he sent an emissary to Yi to execute her by making her take her own life. This would be an alternative to something much worse. Her body was desecrated after her death, her face was covered by her hair, and rice husks were stuffed into her mouth. After his mother's death, Cao Rui was raised by Guo Nu Wang, who was also instated as the Empress, despite opposition from officials. There is, however, an alternate account of Lady Zhen's death, which was added by Pei Songzhi. It highlights Lady Zhen's disobedience towards Cao Pi, who sent for her to move to Luoyang numerous times, but then she dies of illness a few months later. Pei Songzhi finds the account dubious, however, and believes that there are specific reasons as to why Cao Pi didn't instate Lady Zhen as the Empress straight away. Some popular stories even speculate that she used her great beauty to have a secret affair with Cao Ji. Several years later, during the reign of her son Cao Rui, her worship was ordered at the ancestral temple in Yi on 20th of March 227. He granted her the title Empress Wen Zhao, cultured and diligent empress, and also rewarded her family members. One account mentions that Cao Rui had been aware of his mother's fate all along, harbouring anger and sadness for years. After he became emperor, he asked his stepmother about how his mother died. Guo replied, "The late emperor was the one who ordered her death, so why are you asking me? You're his son, so you can blame him. Are you going to kill your stepmother for your real mother?" Cao Rui turned furious and forced her to commit suicide. He had her buried as an empress indeed, but her body was ordered to be treated in the same way as his mother, face covered and mouth stuffed with rice husks.